life forces you to stop sometimes. And in 2011, my accident did for sure. It not only forced me to change my life faster than I would have wanted, but ultimately it also changed me. I talked about my accident in the past extensively, so I'm not going to go into that. Let's just say my life got halted, completely stopped, and I had to shift my focus completely to something else. And after high school, after my graduation, I wanted to just make some money to gain perspective of, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to go next? And so I started working at this company that easy work, promised easy work and also lots of money, and it sounded right at the moment. It was right at the moment because I didn't want to start studying something that I didn't feel sure about and then maybe regret it afterwards, wasting years. After the accident, I spent a little over a year at home, figuring out what to do next, going back and forth to the hospital for multiple visits and just, trying to figure out what's next. And I had too much time on my hand for that purpose. And so I had to make a decision. Do I try to push myself back into my old life, which was comfortable and easy, or do I try to pursue something new, lay the foundation for my future, whatever that may be? And thankfully I did come across the opportunity to study, and so I started studying psychology, which I ended up stopping after 2 semesters because it didn't feel right. I was still maturing in relationships, friendships, and had so much to learn still, so much to grow. And those years were very complicated for many reasons. And then the accident happened, and that added another layer of complications to the whole thing. And after the accident, I felt different. I felt disabled. I felt disabled, I was disabled. So I felt scarred. I felt, not myself. And I was looking into the mirror a lot of times and just thinking I don't even recognize myself. I felt weird. I felt ugly. And it was not an easy time. But the truth is, I already had a lot of body issues or not accepting my body or who I am before the accident. I had problems with that in school already, and high school honestly didn't really do much for my confidence. And up to the point I never really felt comfortable in my own skin, and the accident just amplified that feeling of I would like to be differently, I would like to look differently. But in the other way, weirdly, the accident also helped me to, or even force myself to look into that and to overcome this feeling, because I was dealt a different hand, and I had to accept myself at some point. And thankfully, through friends, family support, I finally realized I couldn't keep fighting myself, because this is who I am, this is who I was meant to be. And I had to accept myself, the way I looked, the way I moved, everything. And once I started doing that, it kind of freed me from this lingering cloud over myself that told me that you're ugly, you're weird, you're not enough, you should look different, you should do that, you should, whatever it is. Obviously, it didn't happen overnight, but learning to accept myself laid the foundation for everything else that was coming afterwards. So my confidence, my relationships, and then also my career, I guess. I think one of the biggest lessons, and I know that people preach it all the time, was that people don't give a shit. People, and me included, are so occupied with their own lives, with their own problems, with their own shit, that typically they don't even think about, like, hey, why is this guy looking so weird, or why are fingers missing off his hand, or whatever it is. And most people really don't give a shit about you, in the sense that they don't think about all the stuff that you maybe make up in your head. But at first it might sound harsh, I guess, but actually it's kind of freeing to just get rid of that thought of, oh, what is this person thinking of me, or what is this person thinking of me? And I guess it also has a lot to do with what can I control and what I can't control. I can control how I look, I can control how I feel, I can control to a certain extent what I do, how I behave around other people, how I try to or I want to perceived, but I can't really control what other people think of me. And I guess that alone, that notion of, okay, this is what I can do, and so I'm going to be the best version or I'm going to be just myself. And if people like it, that's fine. If people don't like it, then that's also okay. And that was actually very nice, and it's energy saving, honestly. And that's how I think I slowly started building my confidence. There are little bits and pieces that kind of came together as a full, and I'm sitting here talking to my camera in my office. 10 years ago, I probably would have not done something like that. No, for sure, I would have not done something like that. Take it or leave it, but this shift of not giving a shit about what people think or might think, that's the thing, that was huge. When I think back, comparing myself to who I was before the accident and after the accident, I have a hard time really thinking of the person I was before the accident, simply because the accident didn't change me from one day to the other. It was a gradual change, but a lot of people told me afterwards that I've changed. And after some time, I realized because in my core, I felt still the same, and I am still the same. I'm still this immature, movie-loving, funny geek that, just wants to have a good time. But in terms of taking certain things more serious, taking life more serious, making decisions that are more, serious and can have an impact, I guess that was something that for sure changed. And also the decisions that you make today, how can they impact, or how will they impact my future? My near future, my far future, I'm talking about like eating healthy, working out, smoking, drinking, stuff like that. Or also going to school, choosing this path versus this path, stuff like that. Thinking back to my accident and just what it meant to me or what it did to me, how it forced me to grow up and how it forced me to rethink my life, my choices, my relationships, myself. This is this thing, I'm very torn. I'm very thankful for everything that happened afterwards, and I'm very thankful for all the good things that came from it. And I do believe that some things happen for a reason, and life's shit sometimes, and I also know that it's up to us what we make out of that. And that while I would never wish it upon someone, I obviously would never wish anything bad upon anybody, I can honestly say bad things or hiccups on the road help us, shape us. And if we take the chance, can help us grow in a lot of ways. And maybe you can't relate because you haven't had an accident in your life, but I believe that everybody has had some trauma, some loss, some, disease or other traumatic stuff happening in their life that they were put at a crossroads and they had to make some choices. So I guess the question at the end is always like, afterwards, how do we move on? How do we take the next step towards whatever it is, towards more happiness, towards recovery, towards trying to deal with this? If my story for some reason resonated with you, if you can relate then please let me know in the comments. Please let me know if you like videos like that, where I'm just sitting down talking more, not so much changing scenery, changing perspectives, thinking about different shots I could do. This is the real thing I'm trying to do here. No bullshit, no made up stuff. And this is my life, this is part of my life. So I would love to hear from you, maybe your experiences, maybe your feedback, comments, whatever. And as always, thank you. And as always, thank you for watching, for supporting and being part of this journey. Bye.